True wealth begins in vision, not in possessions. Vision is the seed of everything great that God births in the earth. Before any great movement, before any lasting wealth, before any transformation of life, there was always vision. Possessions may be temporary, they may come and go, but vision is the eternal blueprint that outlives money, circumstances, and seasons. When God prepares someone for greatness, He does not start by filling their hands with material things. Instead, He fills their mind and heart with a vision that is bigger than them, a picture of what could be and should be according to His divine plan. If you study the pattern of God, you will discover that He never gave men wealth first. He always gave them vision. Abraham was given a vision of nations before he possessed any land. Joseph was given a vision of ruling and preserving nations before he ever entered Pharaoh's palace. Moses was given a vision of deliverance before Israel ever left Egypt. Jesus himself carried a vision of the kingdom before he laid down his life. Wealth without vision becomes destructive, but vision is the foundation upon which sustainable wealth is built. Vision gives meaning to wealth and directs resources toward a higher purpose. When you have vision, possessions are attracted to you. People with money will find you because they are looking for someone with direction. The truth is, money is lazy. It looks for work. It looks for a place to be invested. It looks for a vision to serve. If you lack vision, money will pass you by, but when you are clear on your vision, wealth flows toward it. This is why the first sign that God is preparing you for abundance in spirit and in life is that He refines your vision. He allows you to see beyond your present struggles and circumstances into what is possible with Him. Vision is not the same as ambition. Ambition is born out of self, but vision is born out of God. Ambition is about climbing to the top, while vision is about lifting others as you rise. Ambition ends with pride, but vision births humility, because you realize it is bigger than you. Possessions without vision will control you, but vision keeps possessions under control. You can lose everything you own, but if you still have vision, you will rebuild it again. Vision is the source of resilience. Think about how God begins with an image. He shows you a picture of the future, while your present looks nothing like it. He gives you an inner photograph of your destiny, a snapshot of who you are meant to be, while your circumstances still argue against it. You may be struggling financially, but in your spirit, God is showing you building systems, businesses, ministries, and influence that will impact nations. That is because He wants you to understand that wealth is not in your wallet. Wealth begins in your vision. Possessions are deceptive because they make you believe that having is the same as becoming. But the truth is, you can have much and still be poor, because poverty is not the absence of possessions, it is the absence of vision. True poverty is blindness to possibility. A man with no vision is poorer than a man with no money. Vision is the ability to see the invisible and believe the impossible. Once you capture vision, no amount of lack can stop you from moving forward, because your life is no longer governed by what you see in your hands, but by what you see in your spirit. This is why so many people chase wealth and never find fulfillment. They accumulate possessions without vision, and in the end they are empty. They may live in mansions but feel lost. They may sit on millions but lack purpose. But a person of vision can live with very little yet walk with a sense of greatness because they know what God has shown them. Their future pulls them forward, and every possession that comes into their life serves the vision, not the other way around. When God is preparing you to be a billionaire in spirit and in life, He starts by stretching your vision. He begins to give you dreams that make you uncomfortable. He shows you things that seem impossible. He stirs your heart with ideas that are beyond your resources, and you may wonder how it could ever come to pass. That is because God wants to teach you that possessions are not the beginning. Vision is the beginning. Wealth does not create vision. Vision creates wealth. Every great invention, every company, every movement that transformed society began as an idea, an image in the mind of someone who dared to see differently. The danger of seeking possessions without vision is that possessions will end up owning you. You will chase things and never find peace. But when vision becomes your driving force, possessions will chase you because they are attracted to clarity of purpose. Vision organizes your life. It tells you what to say yes to and what to reject. It disciplines your spending your time, your energy. People of vision are not distracted by everything because they are focused on something. And in that focus, they become magnets for wealth, for relationships, for influence, and for divine opportunities. God tests character before He releases wealth. Character is the foundation upon which all true success is built. Without character, Wealth becomes a weapon of destruction, both to the one who holds it and to those who are influenced by it. Before God can trust you with great resources, He must first shape your integrity, discipline your motives, and refine your heart. It is not enough to desire wealth, you must be prepared to handle it. The weight of prosperity can crush you if your character is not strong enough to carry it. Every promotion in life is preceded by a test. God will never elevate you without first proving what is inside of you. Just as gold is purified in fire, your character is tested through trials, disappointments, delays, and pressures. These experiences are not meant to destroy you, but to reveal whether you can be trusted with more. If you cannot remain faithful with little, you will never manage much. The measure of your stewardship in small things is the prophecy of how you will handle larger responsibilities. If you cut corners with a little money, what will you do with millions? If you lie when the stakes are low, what will happen when the stakes are high? If you cannot be generous when you have little, how will you ever become generous when you have much? God uses tests to expose motives. Many people want wealth because they want comfort, luxury, or recognition. But God prepares billionaires in spirit and life for a higher purpose. Wealth is not given to inflate your pride, but to expand your influence for good. When your motives are impure, the weight of wealth will only magnify your flaws. That is why God delays certain blessings until your heart is right. He would rather hold back resources than watch them destroy you. The testing of character is God's way of protecting both you and the wealth He intends to give you. Character is tested in secrecy. It is easy to put on a mask in public, but God looks at what you do in private. Do you cut corners when no one is watching? Do you honor commitments when no one is checking? Do you keep your word even when it costs you? These small, hidden tests are the true indicators of character. If you pass them, you are preparing yourself for promotion. If you fail them, God in His mercy will often let you repeat the test until you learn. This is why some people feel like their breakthrough is delayed. It is not because God is withholding, but because He is refining. Look at Joseph in Egypt. Before he became the second most powerful man in the nation, he endured betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. Each stage tested his character. In Potiphar's house, he was trusted with management and proved faithful. In prison, he was trusted with leadership and proved trustworthy. Only then did God elevate him to manage the wealth of a nation. If Joseph had failed in character, he would have squandered the opportunity. His story is proof that character must come before promotion. True character is revealed not in how you treat those above you, but in how you treat those beneath you. Do you respect the cleaner as much as the CEO? Do you show kindness to those who cannot return the favor? This is where God weighs the heart. Wealth in the wrong hands breeds arrogance, but in the right hands it produces humility. God will test you by placing you under authority before He gives you authority. If you cannot serve, you cannot lead. If you cannot submit, you cannot govern. The tests of character also come through how you handle pressure. Pressure exposes cracks in integrity. It shows whether you will compromise your values for quick gain. Many people sell their soul for temporary rewards because they are unwilling to endure discomfort. But those who pass the test refuse to trade long-term purpose for short-term pleasure. They understand that the promise of God is worth the wait, and they will not sacrifice integrity for opportunity. When God sees a person who values integrity over income, principle over pleasure, and faithfulness over fame, He knows that person can be trusted with abundance. Wealth will not change them. Instead, they will change the world with it. But when a person lacks character, wealth only magnifies their corruption. This is why so many rise quickly and fall just as quickly. They had possessions but no foundation. They had money but no morals. They had influence but no integrity. The process of testing is not meant to discourage you but to prepare you. Every challenge you endure, every temptation you resist, every trial you overcome is shaping your character to carry greater responsibility. It is building within you the strength to handle wealth without being enslaved by it. God is more concerned with who you are becoming than with what you are receiving. When your character is tested and proven, you can carry billions without billions carrying you. Preparation always comes before manifestation. God never gives you the fullness of what He has promised until He has first taken you through a season of preparation. This is the divine order of life, because anything that is not prepared cannot be sustained. Preparation is the unseen work that builds the foundation for visible greatness. When you look at people who are entrusted with great wealth, influence, or spiritual depth, you are witnessing the fruit of years of hidden preparation. God is not interested in giving you something you cannot handle. He is more concerned about your ability to sustain blessings than about how quickly you receive them. That is why He allows time, process, and training before releasing what He has destined for you. Preparation often takes place in obscurity. God hides you in seasons where it feels like nothing is happening, yet everything is happening. The waiting room of life is not wasted time, it is training time. It is in these quiet moments where He shapes your mindset, disciplines your habits, and deepens your faith. You may feel overlooked, forgotten, or delayed, but in reality you are being equipped. No one builds a skyscraper without first digging deep foundations underground. The deeper the foundation, the taller the building can rise. In the same way, the more God prepares you, the greater the manifestation He has in store. Preparation is uncomfortable because it challenges everything in you that is not aligned with destiny. It demands discipline, sacrifice, and patience. Many people abort their purpose because they resist preparation. They want the promise without the process, the reward without the training, the crown without the cross. But anything received before its time can become a curse. A blessing outside of preparation is premature, and premature blessings can destroy you. God in His wisdom delays manifestation until you are ready to steward it. Consider the life of David. He was anointed king as a boy, but he did not sit on the throne immediately. Instead, he went back to tending sheep, fighting lions and bears, and learning the discipline of faithfulness in small assignments. Then he faced Goliath, where his private preparation gave him public victory. Even after this, he endured years of running from Saul, being tested in caves, and learning the responsibilities of leadership in difficult circumstances. By the time he finally sat on the throne, he was not just a man with oil on his head. He was a man prepared to govern a nation. Without preparation, the anointing would not have been enough. Manifestation without preparation leads to collapse. How many people pray for wealth, yet cannot even manage the little they have? How many ask for businesses, yet cannot manage their time? How many desire global influence, yet cannot govern their emotions? God will never allow you to step into manifestation while your inner life remains unprepared. He knows that without structure, abundance becomes chaos. That is why the wilderness always precedes the promised land. The wilderness is not punishment, it is preparation. It strips away dependency on self and trains reliance on God. Preparation also teaches patience, and patience builds maturity. Maturity is the ability to handle success without letting it corrupt you. It is the ability to endure setbacks without losing faith. It is the ability to serve when you feel overlooked, to obey when you do not understand, to stay consistent when you do not see results. These are the qualities forged in preparation. By the time manifestation comes, you are not carried away by pride, nor are you shaken by challenges. You become a stable vessel, ready to carry the weight of destiny. Even Jesus embraced preparation. Before stepping into His public ministry, He spent 30 years in obscurity. He grew in wisdom, stature, and favor with God and man. He submitted to earthly parents, worked as a carpenter, and lived a life of quiet obedience. Then He spent 40 days in the wilderness, fasting and facing temptations. Only after all this preparation did He begin the work that changed the world. If preparation was necessary for Him, how much more is it necessary for you? Manifestation is the harvest, but preparation is the sowing. You cannot reap where you have not sown. Every act of obedience, every season of discipline, every lesson learned in silence is a seed planted for your future. When the season of manifestation arrives, the seeds of preparation will spring forth in abundance. But without sowing in preparation, there can be no harvest of manifestation. God is preparing you for what He has already prepared for you. He has already written the end, but He will not skip the process of preparation to get you there. Wealth is not measured by what you have, but by what you can give. The true essence of riches is never found in accumulation. It is discovered in contribution. Possessions are temporary, but impact is eternal. What you keep dies with you, but what you give lives beyond you. This is why some of the wealthiest people in possessions are the poorest in legacy, while some who owned very little in material terms left behind an inheritance of wisdom, influence, and transformation that shaped generations. God never intended for wealth to be defined by numbers in a bank account, but by the ability to influence, empower, and elevate the lives of others. When God prepares you for abundance, He shifts your perspective away from ownership to stewardship. You begin to understand that nothing you have is truly yours. It is entrusted to you. You are not the source, you are the channel. You are not the owner, you are the manager. The resources that flow into your life are meant to flow through to meet needs, build lives, and advance purposes greater than yourself. The wealthiest people in the kingdom are those who understand that giving is the highest form of living. This truth separates prosperity from greed. Greed hoards while prosperity shares. Greed builds walls while prosperity builds bridges. Greed is driven by fear of losing, but prosperity is driven by faith in abundance. When you measure wealth by what you give, your focus shifts from self-preservation to selflessness. You are no longer concerned only with what you can buy, but with what you can build. You are not obsessed with the car you drive or the clothes you wear, but with the lives you impact and the opportunities you create for others. Giving is the evidence of love. The greatest giver of all was God Himself, who demonstrated wealth not by what He possessed, but by what He gave. He gave His Son, and that single act of giving transformed humanity forever. That is the model of true wealth. If God measures wealth by giving, then how can we measure it by having? Your wealth is not what you keep in your house, but what you release into the world. When you understand this, every resource you have becomes a tool for transformation. Many people confuse wealth with luxury, but luxury fades. Cars rust, clothes wear out, gadgets become outdated, and houses age. But when you invest in lives, when you give knowledge, wisdom, opportunities, or resources, you create wealth that no decay can touch. That is why the legacy of givers outlives them. Their names are remembered not because of what they owned, but because of what they gave. Wealthy people in spirit are those whose generosity creates ripples across time, touching lives they will never meet. Giving also proves trustworthiness. God will never release more into the hands of someone who refuses to release what they already have. The river that gives water is always replenished, but the pond that hoards water becomes stagnant. In the same way, those who give freely are continuously supplied, but those who hoard cut themselves off from the flow of abundance. When you become a giver, you align yourself with divine principles that ensure continuous increase. It may not make sense in the natural mind, but in the kingdom, the more you give, the more capacity you create to receive. Generosity also frees you from the grip of possessions. Many people are enslaved by what they own because their identity is tied to their possessions. They fear losing them because without them they feel worthless. But when you give, you prove that possessions do not control you, you control them. You demonstrate that your value is not in things, but in who you are and what you can contribute. That freedom is the highest form of wealth because you are no longer defined by what you have, but by what you are able to release. It is also important to understand that giving is not limited to money. Time, wisdom, encouragement, mentorship, service, these are forms of giving that often surpass material contributions. Some of the most life-changing gifts come from words of encouragement spoken at the right time, or from opportunities created by someone who believed in another person's potential. Wealth in spirit means you are rich in resources that elevate others, whether those resources are material or intangible. The measure of your wealth is seen in how many people rise because of you. If your dream only benefits you, it is too small. If your success only feeds your desires, it is incomplete. God prepares billionaires in spirit and in life not so they can boast in what they have, but so they can multiply what they give. Nations are waiting for the generosity of people who understand that wealth is responsibility. Families are waiting, communities are waiting, the poor are waiting, the next generation is waiting. The true test of wealth is not in the lifestyle you enjoy, but in the legacy you leave behind. God gives you ideas before He gives you income. The greatest currency in the kingdom is not money but wisdom, not possessions but divine ideas. Money is temporary and unstable. It fluctuates with markets, economies, and politics. But an idea from God is eternal, powerful, and transformative. Every invention, every movement, every enterprise that has shaped history began not with money, but with a thought, a vision, an idea. Money is always the servant of ideas, never the master. When God prepares you for wealth, He deposits ideas into your spirit that have the power to generate streams of income, create opportunities, and influence generations. Many people pray for money, yet what they truly need is wisdom. You can lose money, but if you still have wisdom, you will create wealth again. You can be stripped of possessions, but if you still carry an idea, you can rebuild. Ideas are wealth in seed form. They may not look valuable when they first arrive, but within them lies the potential for unlimited increase. Every billion-dollar company began with someone daring to hold on to an idea others ignored. Every breakthrough in society came because someone valued an idea enough to nurture it, protect it, and act upon it. God rarely drops money from heaven, but He gives you thoughts, insights, and solutions that can unlock doors in the earth. He may give you a new way of solving a problem, a creative strategy to serve people, or a vision for an enterprise that has never been seen before. That idea is the answer to someone's prayer, and when you steward it faithfully, it produces income as a byproduct. The danger is that many people dismiss divine ideas because they seem small, impractical, or impossible. Yet the greatest trees grow from the smallest seeds. Ideas may come to you as whispers, impressions, or dreams, but if you honor them, they can transform into global impact. The wealthiest place on earth is not the bank but the graveyard, because it holds countless buried ideas. Books never written, businesses never launched, inventions never developed, songs never sung. These treasures died with the people who carried them because they did not recognize that their true wealth was in their ideas. When you realize this, you stop asking only for resources and start asking for revelation. You begin to value inspiration more than income because you understand that inspiration creates income. Ideas from God are also protective. Money can vanish in economic downturns, but an idea can reinvent your future. When Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dream, it was not money that saved Egypt, but an idea. The idea of storing grain during abundance preserved an entire nation during famine. That one divine idea not only brought Joseph wealth, but also elevated him to power and influence. The same principle applies today. Your ability to hear, recognize, and act on God-given ideas can position you for levels of abundance that money alone could never secure. When God gives you an idea, it often feels bigger than your capacity. That is because He wants you to depend on Him for its fulfillment. If the idea is something you can accomplish in your own strength, it may not be from Him. Divine ideas stretch you, challenge you, and force you to grow. They require faith, discipline, and persistence. Many people abandon their ideas because they do not have immediate resources to act on them. But resources are always attracted to vision. The right people, opportunities, and finances will show up when you take steps of faith with the idea God has placed in you. It is also important to protect your ideas. Not everyone will see what you see. Some will dismiss, criticize, or even attempt to steal your vision. That is why discernment is necessary. Share your ideas only with those who can nurture, support, and help cultivate them. An idea prematurely exposed to the wrong environment can be destroyed before it has the chance to grow. Just as a farmer covers seeds in the soil until they are ready to sprout, you must cover your ideas in prayer, planning, and patience until the time of manifestation. Ideas are also the proof of God's trust in you. He does not give ideas to people who will waste them. If He has placed a vision in your heart, it is because He sees the potential in you to steward it. That vision is both a gift and a responsibility. You are accountable for the ideas you carry. If you bury them out of fear or laziness, you rob the world of the solutions God intended to release through you. But if you act on them, you not only create wealth but also fulfill purpose. The world does not remember those who only had possessions. It remembers those who had ideas that changed lives. Possessions fade, but ideas live on. When you realize that God gives you ideas before income, you stop chasing money and start cultivating vision. You stop running after wealth and start developing wisdom. You understand that if you can think it, imagine it, and act on it with faith, money will follow. True billionaires in spirit are those who carry an abundance of God-given ideas and translate them into impact that cannot be measured only by material possessions. You are blessed to become a blessing. This principle is at the heart of true wealth and divine prosperity. God does not bless people merely for comfort, indulgence, or personal satisfaction. Every blessing carries a purpose beyond the individual. You are not meant to hoard abundance, but to multiply it, to serve others, and to extend influence that changes lives. Wealth, whether spiritual, emotional, or material, is not a personal trophy. It is a tool to advance a greater mission. When you understand that you are blessed to become a blessing, your entire perspective on life, money, and success changes. Many people misunderstand blessings. They see wealth as an end rather than a means. They measure success by accumulation and comfort, not by contribution and impact. But in the kingdom of purpose, the value of what you receive is determined by how it benefits others. A house, a car, or a bank account may satisfy temporarily, but unless it serves a higher purpose, it does not fulfill its divine intent. God's blessings are like seeds. If you bury them, they will die. If you plant them, nurture them, and multiply them, they will produce a harvest far beyond what you imagined. Every resource, every opportunity, every talent is meant to grow and be shared. Being a blessing requires vision. It is not random generosity or occasional giving. It is a lifestyle of intentional impact. You must see the needs around you and respond strategically. This may involve helping a struggling family, mentoring someone with potential, creating jobs, funding education, or building systems that empower communities. The more you use what you have to bless others, the greater your capacity for abundance becomes. God measures your faithfulness not by what you receive, but by how you release it. He prepares billionaires in spirit and in life by teaching them that wealth is never private, it is always communal. The ability to bless others transforms you internally as well. When your focus shifts from self to service, your heart aligns with God's principles. Generosity opens channels for new opportunities, divine favor, and spiritual growth. It also protects you from the corruption of greed, pride, and selfish ambition. People who understand that they are blessed to bless others cannot be consumed by materialism, because their true reward is the impact they make, the lives they touch, and the legacies they leave. This is why many of the wealthiest spiritual leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs are also the most generous. They measure their success by influence and transformation, not just bank balances. Blessing others also multiplies your resources. This principle is not merely spiritual, it is practical. When you invest in people, opportunities, and ideas, God moves to increase your capacity to continue the work. A hand that gives is a hand that receives. A heart that opens is a heart that is expanded. The universe, aligned with divine law, rewards those who release abundance. Every act of giving, mentoring, or empowering creates a ripple effect that returns to you in unexpected ways. Opportunities, partnerships, knowledge, and resources flow toward those who live as conduits of blessing. Becoming a blessing requires faith and courage. It is easier to focus on your own needs, to conserve resources, or to pursue comfort. But true prosperity demands risk. You must step out of your comfort zone, extend beyond your limits, and trust that God will replenish what you give. Faith is the bridge between receiving and giving. Without faith, you hoard. With faith, you multiply. Every act of intentional blessing tests your trust in divine provision and builds your spiritual, emotional, and practical strength. Your influence grows when you are a blessing. Material wealth alone can create power, but power without blessing is shallow and unstable. Influence built on impact is enduring. People remember those who invested in their growth, their well-being, and their success. Wealth becomes a tool for creating a lasting legacy when it is used to empower others. Nations, communities, and generations rise because someone understood that their blessings were not merely for themselves. They were a deposit into the future. True billionaires in spirit understand that giving is inseparable from receiving. They do not bless others to get recognition. They bless because they are conscious of divine responsibility. They understand that everything in their hands is temporary, but the lives they touch can carry forward eternal value. The more they bless, the more doors open, the more opportunities appear, and the more their capacity grows. Blessing is a cycle, and God designed it to expand exponentially. When you embrace the principle of being blessed to bless, it changes your mindset, your habits, and your destiny. You stop chasing selfish gain and start pursuing strategic influence. You see resources as instruments, not possessions. You understand that life is measured not by what you collect, but by what you release. This mindset prepares you for abundance in all areas, spiritual, relational, and material. You learn that the higher your calling, the greater your responsibility to empower, uplift, and leave a legacy that transcends your lifetime. As we draw this journey to its close, remember this truth: God is not just preparing you to have wealth. He is preparing you to be a vessel of greatness. He is shaping your vision, refining your character, training your heart, and awakening your spirit to understand that true abundance is not in what you hold, but in what you become. Every test, every delay, every challenge, every idea whispered into your spirit is part of a divine strategy to position you as a billionaire in spirit and in life. Do not measure your progress by the numbers you see today. Measure it by the growth within you. Measure it by your faithfulness in small things, by your ability to bless others, by your commitment to integrity, and by the clarity of your vision. Wealth without purpose is empty. Influence without responsibility is dangerous. But a life prepared by God, aligned with His principles, and committed to blessing others is unstoppable. Rise now with the confidence that God is orchestrating every detail of your journey. Step forward in faith, act on the ideas He has placed in your heart, and give generously, knowing that as you bless, you are being elevated. Do not rush the process, do not despise the preparation, and do not settle for anything less than the full destiny God has set before you. You are not here to be ordinary. You are not here to chase temporary riches. You are here to become a living testimony of God's glory, a beacon of provision, a source of inspiration, and a billionaire in spirit and life. This is your season. Your vision is alive. Your character is being perfected. Your blessings are multiplying. Step into your destiny with courage, with faith, and with a heart ready to bless the world. The world is waiting for your excellence, your wisdom, and your abundance. Walk boldly, act faithfully, and live fully, for God has prepared you for more than wealth. He has prepared you to transform nations, touch lives, and leave a legacy that echoes for generations.